Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for tonight's Mosport Grand Prix. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight is Derik Vance. Derik, big race here tonight in the Lotus Classic Series here tonight, presented by Warriors for Peace. 45 laps around this Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, 50% fuel capacity, and 2 sets of tires. It should be a good race, and I'm glad to have you back with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be back, and going to be a interesting event that we have in store for you. A very small group of racers here tonight. We were talking offline about that earlier.
Yeah, a bit of a smaller field tonight. Looks like 15 cars will take the grid with us here. On the pole is Togo Hisada. Made his debut a few weeks ago at Watkins Glen and was able to snag a podium, joining us all the way from Japan. It's morning time over there, so good morning to Togo. Tyler Fody on the outside pole. Row number 2, Bill Tyler, Justin Fortner. Row 3, Chad Frankenfield, Ethan Stanley there. Row 4 is Jared Rexing and Hunter Smith. And rounding out the top 10, Jorge Nieva and Ryan Schull. Just 15 cars, like I mentioned. Yari Brupacher, Jim Herrick there just outside the top 10. Craig Forsyth, Rory Collins, and Brandon Burns rounding out the cars that will start tonight. Justin Wadsworth may join a little later. But obviously tonight, 111 miles is the total length of this race. We are using the 125-mile point breakdown tonight, so 250 points to the race winner, 200 for second, all the way down to 13 points for the 12th place car. So to smaller field like this, a little bit easier to get points, but not a ton of points on the table for these guys. And speaking of points, looking at the points, Ethan Stanley is currently the points leader by 320 points over Bill Tyler, 490 over Jorge Nieva, 500 over Jared Rexing, and 560 over Justin Wadsworth. Looking through the rest of the top 10, Tyler Fody, Rory Collins, Justin Fortner, Mark Murphy, and Cameron Rich. Mark Murphy is not here tonight. Very surprising there, as is Cameron Rich, absent from the field tonight. So 45 laps around the circuit, and I hope that these guys can put on a good race for us.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's number one goal out on track is to put a good race, a good event for the fans. But yes, there are a mix of familiar names that we've seen throughout the season, and then there are some new faces that we haven't been able to get quite a glimpse of as we're about to drop the green flag.
Barney the flagman does have the green flag in the air, and we are underway with Togo Hisada and Tyler Fody immediately battling for the point spot. Tyler Fody takes over as the race leader here as the field heads down into turn number 2. You can see them now cycling through turn 2A. Chad Frankenfield off the racing surface out back. He's able to rejoin the field, but he's going to be way off that front pack, and he's going to have a lot of work to do to try to get back up there. You can see it already. 12 seconds is the gap for Frankenfield off of the lead pack.
Yeah, that spin right there in the grass in the opening lap is not going to do Chad any favors. He's going to have to work his tail off to get back up there to the leaders. But we're taking a look at the point standings, and Ethan Stanley has a comfortable lead, I think, at this point. If you're him, are you obviously, you want to win the race, but if you can't win the race, are you just looking to get a consistent finish and, build on that points lead that you have?
100%. You're out here looking for every opportunity to just try to gain some points and remain the leader, keep that gap that you have. Yari Brupacher, as Yari Brupacher actually goes up and over. We'll take a quick look at that on the Mark J. Robilas Photography Replay Machine. Check out robilasphoto.com for all your photography needs. Here is Yari Brupacher entering, I believe that is turn number 9 in his number 89 machine, and he just completely misses that corner. ends up going through the dirt into the tire barrier, up and over for Mr. Jari Brupacker. We have an incident on the racetrack. Hunter Smith and Jorge Nieva both off of the racing surface. For those at home chat, Frankfield did just enter pit road as well. So only 11 cars still up in that lead pack. On pit road is Chad Frankfield, Jorge Nieva, and of course Jari Brupacker, while Tyler Fode is leading the thing here over Togo Hisada and Bill Tyler.
Yeah, this isn't this is not unfamiliar territory for Tyler Fode, which it seems like every race that we have done this year, that machine Tyler has been able to put to the front, and obviously right now this is no exception either.
Absolutely not. And you look a little bit just outside this top three, you see Ethan Stanley, our points leader, entering the picture here. Coming into 2023, Ethan Stanley had one victory in the Elite Racing League, and that came a while ago, I believe a year or two, and now he is at 7 victories. Actually 8, I do apologize, 8 victories already. So he is 7 on the 2023 calendar thus far in just about 22 starts. So Ethan Stanley is very hot in all series right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and as we showed, just a little bit ago, he is in prime position as we see Hunter Smith coming in to the pits. But Ethan Stanley, what success he has had in 2023, and he is poised to take this points championship home with just a handful of races left.
Absolutely. As just last night here on the Elite Racing Network, Ethan Stanley picked up his first JoinAPS.com Cup Series victory at Martinsville. As you see Togo Hisada closing that gap on Tyler Fode just a little bit there off of turn number 10, heading down the front straightaway to turn 1. Togo's very strong, and I know you weren't with us at Watkins Glen, but he was able to put his car some places that many others weren't able to. He basically dominated that race, but an unfortunate penalty for him. I believe he went through too many pit boxes, cost him the shot at the victory, but was able to come back to finish in the 3rd position, as Craig Forsyth has just had a major incident there and crashed coming off of turn number 1.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here with the overhead replay and so we can look and see what exactly happened. It looks like he just got a little too deep in the corner, hit the rumble strip, and then unfortunately shot back up the track and got a little sideways.
Yeah, I've seen that in person here at this facility while I was spotting in the NASCAR Pinty Series down in turn number 1. I've seen vehicles go off to the left, grab a little bit of that grass, and it is not friendly. Sends them around. As we see an update from race controller Jonathan Cutlip. Contact between the 51 and the 91. A tally was assessed to the 91 of Ethan Stanley, and right here a tally was issued to Hunter Smith for a self-spin causing damage to others. That relates to the incident with Jorge Nieva that put both Smith and Nieva on pit road for damage repair.
Yeah, you said that there was a warning, so to say, initiated to Ethan Stanley. He's got to keep his nose clean now for the next 40 laps, because what a disaster this could be if he was to get another penalty, and that puts him out of the race.
As we see Jari Brupacker calling it a night. Ryan Schold had an incident of his own. We'll take a look on the Robotics Photography replay machine. I do believe it is with Jari Brupacker here. So you take a look, you see Jari in the picture here. Goes for a spin. I do believe that's just Yari's incident. We'll take a look at Ryan Schold here, see what happened to him. Chad Frankenfield, for those keeping score at home, has re-entered the race after sitting on pit road for about 5 minutes to get some damage repair. I think Ryan Schold does the exact same thing we just saw. Yes, he does. Gets off the rumble strips off of turn number 1, clips the grass, and around he goes, as Ryan Schold joins that list of damaged vehicles. At this point in the race, we are down to 10 cars on the lead lap, with Brandon Burns being the last of that group, and he is only about 30 seconds away from going a lap down to Tyler Fode and Togo Hosada. As here comes Togo Hosada trying to make a move, gets back in line. He will continue to run in the second position, looking for any opportunity to make a move on Tyler Fode. Still a fairly large gap as they head down into what I do believe, yes, turn number 5 here, Moss Corner, looking for an opportunity to get around the Tyler Fode machine.
Yeah, as you're watching overhead here, what a battle we have for the top spot. Tyler Fode trying to hang on to it as best he can, but the driver from Japan is all over Tyler Fode right now.
Absolutely. Togo Hosada, when we spoke to him after his podium finish at Watkins Glen, he was just excited to be here. He was very pleased with the opportunity that was presented to him to come out and race. He's won some official championships in this Lotus car, so he is not the least bit inexperienced in this Lotus 49.
Yeah, just watching him, he is hitting his spots, and he is obviously right in the tire tracks as we're right on board with Togo, but he is right in the tire tracks of Tyler Fode, and if Tyler Fode makes one mistake right there, just see a little bit of wiggle, Toga is going to pounce.
As we see, Brandon Burns just had an incident there. That was our 10th place car. Taking a look on the Robiles Photography replay machine, see what happened. Just an update from race control. The number 4 of Ryan Schuld has called it a night. He's currently scored in the 11th position. Looks like he just got a little unsettled on the racetrack. Goes for a spin. Not too much of an incident there. Craig Forsyth is into the wall. Take a look at that one on the Robiles Photography replay machine. Again, robileспhoto.com for all your photo needs. Another car. I thought he was going to do the same thing as we've seen with other vehicles, but he just sends it a little bit too much into turn number 2, grabs a bit of the dirt, goes around, and then tries to spin it back around and ends up a little bit into that wall. Brandon Burns is about to go a lap down as I see some smoke ahead of him there. Looks like a lockup. We are okay. But yeah, Brandon Burns is about to go a lap down here momentarily. He's actually off track, so that won't help him stay on the lead lap too much as he goes around into the outside tire barrier. Here comes our race leaders going around. I do expect Brandon Burns likely to try to rejoin the field here. Yes, he does. But that is now just 9 cars on the lead lap. Craig Forsyth about 25 seconds away from going a lap down, which would just leave us with 8 cars on lead lap. Brandon Burns has towed to pit road. So the only other car outside of the top 9 currently on the racetrack is Chad Frankfield, and he is 3 laps down at this point. So Tyler Fode's not going to have too many other cars to worry about at this point if we continue at the same rate.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing, the cars in the back of the pack are hitting that, that rumble strip, and it's just sending, their cars sideways. So it's going to be interesting to see, maybe the more rubber that is laid down on that, maybe there'll be a little bit better grip. But it looks like right now, the top 2 or 3 cars, that can handle that rumble strip, but everyone else for some reason is, the back end's falling out when they go across that strip.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the varying comfort levels of these drivers. We've seen a few hit the wall after going over the rumble strips and the car getting a little upset, and we've seen others just do a masterful job of navigating their way around. We've seen the battle between Hosada and Fode. The next closest battle on the racetrack is Justin Fortner chasing down Ethan Stanley. That gap is just about 1 second now at this point. Yeah, 9/10 of a second. Other than that, there are no battles on the racetrack. Everyone's separated by, at the very least, 1 second, some of them even 6 seconds and up. So not too much going on out here on the racetrack at this point, but we do have a great battle brewing up here. Togo Sada and Tyler Fode. Bill Tyler trying to stay in the picture as well, only 1.2 seconds back. So he is definitely not out of it at this point. And one little hiccup by those two guys ahead of him, and Bill Tyler could have a great opportunity here.
Yeah, Bill Tyler just needs to, kind of sit back and mind his own business there, and let the front two cars battle it out. Because, like you said, it only takes one wiggle from those top two cars, to take each other out. We've seen that in the IndyCar race this past weekend. And then if that was the case, then Bill Tyler is going to be handing a opportunity to be the leader and maybe potentially win this race if that was to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at the gap, if these top two were, obviously knock on wood, hoping nothing negative happens, but if these two were to get into each other and end up wrecking, then a guy like Bill Tyler would have a 6-second lead over what would be second place Ethan Stanley. So it'd be a great opportunity for him, as Togo Asada still trying to get there. Tyler Fode's just doing a masterful job at this point, as he typically does on most of the circuits that we see that number 40 car. Obviously a few everyone struggles at, but Tyler Fode doing a good job. Togo Asada as well, Bill Tyler, Ethan Stanley, Justin Fortner, that's top 5. And then actually the rest of the cars on the track are Jared Rexing, Jim Herrick, Rory Collins, Craig Forsyth, and Chad Frankenfield. That is the top 10. That is the entire field at this point on lap number 11.
Yeah, the battle, like you said, is up front, and then everyone else is a little bit spaced out. So unless there is a caution here shortly, it looks like we're going to have a continuous battle up front, and Tyler Fode is going to get everything that Togo has. We see a car spin off into the tire barrier.
That is Chad Frankenfield. Our 10th place car just went off into the tire barrier. Good spot for him, as it is off turn number 10 right at the pit entry. So Frankenfield able to immediately come down pit road to the attention of his crew. I don't know if maybe the steering is messed up on that car, or if he's dealing with some sort of other issue that has really impacted his event tonight. But we do see him on pit road. He's staying in the car, meaning as I say that, he does exit the racing vehicle. Chad Frankfield may be done for the night, which would be very unfortunate. So 9 cars left on the racetrack right now. Craig Forsyth will be the next one to go a lap down in about 15 seconds time. And based off the pace I'm seeing, I think at some point we'll be down to just about 6 cars on the lead lap. Jared Rexing, the last of those cars, as well as Justin Fortner, Ethan Stanley, Bill Tyler, and of course Togo Asada and Tyler Fode, as it looks like Jim Herrick and Rory Collins are en route to getting a lap down at some point, depending on pit strategy, of course, because that could change everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That may be where the race is won and lost, with as spread out as everything is from third place on back. This may come down to pit strategy. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
That will be what potentially separates these top two from each other, is when they opt to come down pit road. And they don't necessarily have to take tires in these Lotus cars. The tire wear is very minimal. That's why they only get one additional set of tires to put on the car throughout the race day. And they will need fuel, of course. Only a 50% fuel tank on these vehicles, and it'll be very interesting to see how the strategy works out. But as of right now, Tyler Fode and Togo Asada seem to be the only two to have anything for the front of the pack.
Yeah, those two right now are definitely the head of the class, so to say. As we have another car.
There's the points leader. Not the points leader. He used to be the points leader, but Jared Rexing, one of our top 10 drivers, off into the tire barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of that as we have the replay right here.
Taking a look to see what happened. I'm thinking he just sent it a little bit too hard into turn number 2, which is very easy to do. Absolutely, there you see it. Goes off the track, grabs the hard wall there, slides into the tire barrier. Not a heavy impact into the tire barrier, but the hit into the concrete wall is what could have definitely done a good bit of damage on the Jared Rexing machine. We'll see if he comes down to pit road next time by, which would leave us with just 8 cars on the racetrack if he opts to do so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Jared does decide to do. But yes, we are losing cars one by one from every lap. Going to be interesting to see how many of these cars can hang on and actually complete this 45 lap race.
Here he comes to pit road. Jared Rexing goes for a spin as he tries to enter pit road rather quickly there. You could hear the tires when he was coming through turn number 10, and it was just growling at him. So he has upset that car. Not sure if it's any major damage to the car, but we now have just 8 cars on the racing surface, with Jared Rexing now coming down pit road. And within the next 5 to 7 laps or so, we should see Rory Collins and Craig Forsyth go a lap down to the race leader. So now we're trending towards about 5 cars finishing this race on the lead lap, which definitely very interesting to see. More than 2/3 of this field end up at least 1 lap down.
Yeah, the field is obviously dwindling with cars in the pits, cars retiring, and cars on the lead lap. And we were talking about points earlier, and comes to mind, Stanley there in the lead in points. He keeps driving around lap after lap. How much pressure is on him himself, Ethan Stanley there, the points leader, because he's seeing cars one by one take themselves out, and he is in a prime position in 4th to come away with a great finish and pad his lead in points. So how nervous is he right now, the points leader, but he's seeing cars one by one going out of the race.
He's definitely feeling it. He knows what's going on the racetrack and that multiple cars have been struggling. But I'm looking at the nose of this 91 car, and he has definitely had some impact on the front of that machine. So I know we did see Ethan Stanley earlier on have an off-track moment, but I didn't think it was anything that major, as the front of that thing looks fairly messed up, and I do wonder if it's affecting the handling, as we see Justin Fortner now just behind the Ethan Stanley machine, as Jared Rexing just had another incident. I think that's the same corner. No, that is not the same corner. We'll take a look on the Robilis photo replay machine, see what happened to Jared Rexing here. Oh, it just snaps, I think, under braking, and off he goes. Doesn't hit anything, so he is able to continue on, but tough luck for Jared Rexing here tonight. Tough luck for a lot of guys tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jared Rexing, especially, it seems like he can't get out of his own way tonight.
No, absolutely, and that's the worst part. The toughest person to get around is yourself sometimes. Sometimes you get in your own head or do something that might affect the outcome of your race. He'll look back and realize maybe one lap he pushed a little bit too hard and sent it off into turn 2 and ruined his night, which you just look back at those moments and you get really frustrated with yourself. But Jared will bounce back, as looking just ahead of the race leader, you do see Craig Forsyth, I believe the lone Canadian in the field tonight, doing what he can to try to stay on the lead lap, currently running in the 8th position. I do believe Craig has some real-world laps around this facility, so he was hoping for a better outcome than this, but he's en route to get some pretty decent points with the impact that some of these other guys have seen this evening.
Yeah, he is definitely poised for a good finish. Just keep riding around here for the next handful of laps, and try not to get any self-inflicted wounds right there. As we see another one coming from the number 10 car there.
Jared is not having a good night here. That turn 1, turn 2 section of the racetrack, definitely not what Jared was hoping for. As we see Tyler Fode continuing to lead. Now in the image, we see Craig Forsyth, and just ahead of him is Rory Collins. So not only are those two battling for position, but the leaders have to work their way through to try to get around these guys, which can sometimes turn out to be pretty difficult at these road courses, especially if these guys have any sort of damage. It can really impact their ability to control. As there goes Craig off the racetrack. That's the 27 car. He keeps it out of the tire barrier. Good job by Craig Forsyth there. Unfortunate that he did go for a spin, but that could have been a lot worse. That could have taken him right out of the race. Is now ahead of Tyler Fode. You see Rory Collins about to go one lap down to leave just 6 cars on the lead lap here in the Mosport Grand Prix.
Yeah, what a race by the front 2 cars. They have pulled away substantially from the pack. Be with it that it's a small pack tonight, but they have pulled away in dominant fashion, and I think it's going to come down to, like I said, pit strategy. Which one of these 2 cars, their crews are going to get them out first. I think are going to be the one that ends up ultimately winning this.
Absolutely. It's going to come down to what you can do a little bit different or a little bit better than your competitor. Fode and Hisada are basically running the exact same pace, exact same sort of lap times right now within less than a half of a tenth of a second. So it's not really going to be a difference on the track. I think, like you said, it's going to really depend on what they do off the track on pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as you mentioned here, in the next few laps or so, we're going to see what these teams have, because I think you're going to get one stop here, and it's going to be the money stop.
Oh, as there goes Craig Forsyth. That should end the evening of that number 27 cars. He ends up on top of the tire barrier. So 8 cars left in the event here. Obviously, Craig could rejoin a little bit later, depending on if he really feels like it, as Togo Sada looks to make a move on Tyler Fode here, not able to do so. He's going to get back in line, look for his next opportunity to pounce on the Fode machine, but I think Togo might be getting a little impatient at this point. Doesn't want to hang out in second all night long, wants to lead some laps, and I think you're going to see Togo make a big move here in the next few laps.
Yeah, he's definitely inching his way closer lap by lap, and yeah, I think you're right. But I think, in my opinion, Togo does need to be a little bit patient, because, like we mentioned earlier, if he tries to, jump out there too soon, he runs the risk of not only taking his car out, but taking a good car out of Tyler Fode as well. So interesting scenario setting up here for the second place car.
Absolutely. Togo, like you mentioned, does have to be patient here. Set up the right moment to make a pass if he's going to make the pass on the racetrack, or just really focus on honing in on your pit strategy, when you're going to come down and when you're going to try to jump that number 40 car on pit road. It could be the difference of taking half a gallon less than the 40 car, or maybe opting not to go with those tires that you don't really need, but they're there, so you kind of want them. That could be the difference between first and second at the end of this race, because on the racetrack, it's not really a huge difference in speed. And, speaking of the difference in speed, Bill Tyler's really closed in his gap on these top 2. Just a few minutes ago, he was about a second off of the second place car, Togo Asada. Now he's only about 0.4 of a second off second place and 0.7 off of the race leader. So Bill Tyler trying to get his way back into the conversation for this race victory tonight. 25 to go, so we're 20 laps in at this point. Pit stop should be coming up shortly. I'm not sure if they're going to try to split it halfway or stretch it as long as they can so they can take the least bit of fuel possible. But one thing to point out here, Craig Forsyth has rejoined the field. He's coming off pit road now. And the race leaders are catching Jim Herrick. You can see him just up ahead in that number 44 car. So this could also play a part in when you opt to come down pit road. You could opt to do it before you get to the lap car, so you don't have to worry about making a move on him to put him a lap down. But it'll be very interesting to see. I'd say within the next 5 laps, somebody's going to opt to come down pit road if they really need to tonight.
Yeah, again, first off, do not count out Bill Tyler there. As you said, as he is inching closer with 24 laps to go. I think the most interesting thing is going to be on this this pit stop here coming up shortly is tires. Is that what is going to give Togo that push there to get past Tyler Fode? He's been right there on the doorstep multiple times, but just can't quite finish the job. Are fresh tires going to be the thing that puts Togo over the top and is able to get around Tyler Fode? We're going to see here, I think, relatively shortly.
Absolutely, and it could either be that one of them opts to take tires and get the upper hand, or one of them opts not to take tires, save a little bit of time on pit road, and be able to jump the other one on the racetrack. Because their pace really hasn't changed a ton from the start of the race. I think they're still pretty much running. Actually, Tyler Fode just ran his best lap time of the race. Togo Osada basically on track with that as well. So they haven't really lost any time on the racetrack. And I don't really know if tires is going to be a big difference. Obviously, the tire wear is not massive. And at this point, they're pretty light on fuel, which is helping them be quicker and quicker. So that could play into it as well if maybe they try to stretch it until they're basically empty so they can have the lightest car possible. There's a lot of factors that are going to come into play here. Craig Forsyth just had another moment on the racetrack, ended up in the tire barrier. He's going to rejoin the field here. And just an update for those watching, as you can see on the screen, 5 cars left on the lead lap. Tyler Fode, Togo Osada, top 2. Bill Tyler rounding out the podium right now. Ethan Stanley and Justin Fortner, those guys 4th and 5th. Jim Herrick a lap down in 6th. Rory Collins a lap down as well in 7th. Jared Rexing 1 down. And then the only other 2 cars on the racetrack, Craig Forsyth 2 laps down, and Chad Frankenfield 14 laps down at this point. Craig Forsyth has returned to pit road in his number 27 after his latest incident on the racetrack.
Yeah, so it is the front three there, front 3 rather, with a little bit of a
they are
breakaway.
free.
They are free, absolutely. You see how much track is behind all 3 of them there. As what a race all 3 of these excellent drivers have driven so far. But I think we're in agreement here that it's going to come down to this pit stop and what's going to be the strategy for these 3 cars. Is it going to be tires and fuel? Is it going to be just tires? So this is definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Absolutely going to be very interesting to see what happens and how strategy comes into play here. 22 laps to go, so we're basically at the halfway point of the 45 lap event. Just about now, actually, as they work their way off of turn number 5, heading down the long straightaway. Jared Rexing once again just had an incident, and he wrecks just past pit entry, so he can't even come down pit road right away to have a look and see if he has any damage. But Jared Rexing continuing on the racetrack. 9 cars still out there, only 3 of them basically in contention at this point, as the closest battle, of course, is this race lead, the top 3. But Ethan Stanley and Justin Fortner having a little battle of their own, not anything too major right now. Fortner still trailing the Ethan Stanley car by a little bit, but for these guys, this is kind of comfortable as well. You have nothing out back, you have nothing really out front, so it's just a battle of two cars at this point. You're just out here trying to turn laps, and you're not necessarily going to be able to make up 14 seconds on the racetrack with just 21 laps to go, but obviously anything's possible.
Yeah, if you're Ethan Stanley, you're treating this just like a Sunday drive here. 21 laps to go. You have the potential to finish in the top 5, pad a little bit more to your points lead. So if you're Ethan Stanley right now, you're just out there on a nice Sunday drive. Just make sure you hit your marks, and you're going to come home with not only a top 5 finish, but you're going to pad your lead in the points as well. And I think it's duly noted that this race for a lot of guys, I think, is going to be one to forget.
That is a fact, no doubt, as only 5 of them are on the lead lap, 9 still running just past halfway here, 20 laps remaining in the 45 lap event. We do have our first green flag pit stop of this top 10 or so. Jim Herrick coming down pit road. He's going to pit from the 6th position, so we'll see if that kickstarts anything for these top 5 next time by. I think we are definitely approaching the point in the race where you would start thinking about coming down pit road and getting those tires or topping up that fuel so you can make a nice long run to the end. You don't want to run it too tight where you don't have the time to work your way back up if you make the slightest mistake on pit road. So I'd say within the next 2 laps or so, we should see at least some of this top 3 coming down pit road.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think my thinking is going to be that all 3 of these are going to come in at the same time. I think you'd about have to, with as spread out as this field is, and with only 20 laps to go. I think when Tyler Fode, whoever the leader is, if it is Tyler Fode, does decide to come in, I think the other 2 cars, they're going to make a decision to come in as well. They have to pit together.
That's exactly it. Being that close, you definitely try to match each other. Come down pit road at the same time. The entire top 5 has stayed out on the racetrack, as we just saw Justin Fortner and Ethan Stanley go by in 4th and 5th. As now back up front, of course, continues to be Tyler Fode, Togo Asada, and Bill Tyler. Just waiting on the first pit stop of these top 5 here tonight. They definitely do need to come down pit road. Only 50% fuel capacity in these cars, so they should be getting towards that point where they need to come down. Again, like I said a lap ago, it should be in the next 2 laps, so we'll see if they opt to come down now when they work their way up the straightaway towards the final set of corners. And we'll see if Tyler Fode makes the move to the inside. Togo Asada as close as ever to making that pass, but just can't get there. Chad Frankenfield, another off-track moment into the wall. Again, I think that number 15 car is just a little bit broken at this point. And they opt to stay out once again.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of cars, just not the 15, but a lot of cars, I think, that are, being held together right now by bubble gum and duct tape at this point. And there's going to be a lot of cars, a lot of drivers that, like I said, this is going to be a race for them to forget. As you see, the top 3, they're kind of stretching this pit window out as far as they can. But we're anticipating that whenever Tyler Fode, or whoever the leader is at that point, does make their way towards the pits, that all 3 of the leader cars are going to come in as well.
Absolutely. You see Craig Forsyth re-entering the race here. 7 laps down is the number 27 car. Still inside the top 10, trying to gap himself a little bit more from Chad Frankenfield. Obviously, the most points you can get, the better. So that is why you see a lot of these guys still in this race. Chad might be 14 laps down, but if he could gain another spot, that could be the difference for him of being inside the top 5 in points or on the outside looking in. So don't blame these guys for trying to stay out. As speaking of staying out, There goes the top 3 by pit road. Once again, 18 laps to go, coming to 17 as we are 45 laps here tonight. So definitely interesting to see that these guys have not opted to come down pit road. Ethan Stanley, Justin Fortner also staying out on the racetrack.
Yeah, what a heck of a gamble that either Tyler Fode or the other 2 cars are taking by stretching this out. They're the only ones that know how much fuel they have left and what the feel of the car is from these tires that have 30 some laps on them, as we have a replay coming up.
Taking a look at Chad Frankenfield, looks like he just grabs a little bit of those rumble strips heading into the final corners. Goes for a little bit of a slide. Goes for a spin. I think Chad is done for the night as the nose gets ripped off of that number 15 car. He is on pit road. Driver is out of the car. So Chad Frankenfield joins the growing list of DNFs here tonight. Now just 5 cars on the lead lap. 9 on the racetrack, including Craig Forsyth, who is indeed 7 laps down. Collins, Rexing, and Herrick all 1 lap down at this point. Top 3 are the only ones with a shot, really, at this point. Ethan Stanley about 16 seconds back, almost 17 seconds back of the lead. Justin Fortner about the same distance as well, just a few tenths behind the Ethan Stanley machine. So very interesting to see. And the one thing I've really noticed is there hasn't been a lot of passing at all at this point. Tyler Fode grabbed the lead on the start, and Togo Hosada has not been able to even really make a move to try to get by him. So I wonder if maybe there was some sort of aerodynamic change when it came to these cars in the recent build, because this is driving a lot different than what we've seen previously with these Lotus cars.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. We're not getting as much passing as we did in previous races, and then just
here's Tyler Fode.
Tyler Fode goes in the pits, and the other 2 decide to stay out. What a gamble!
Togo Hosada inherits the lead. Bill Tyler to second. Let's see if Ethan Stanley and Justin Fortner stay out. Stanley comes down, as does Fortner. Those 2 are going to match each other, but they do have an opportunity if they time their pit stop right and maybe not take tires, just take a little bit of gas. They could end up leaving with Tyler Fode. They will not, as they just enter their pit stall now. Tyler Fode scored about 26 seconds off of the race leader. His total time on pit road from line to line, 36.08 seconds. So depending on what Togo and Bill Tyler do, they will either all come out together right near each other, or Tyler Fode could end up with a gap.
You know what? This reminds me.
Oh, no, Ethan Stanley and Justin. Oh, is that just... No, that's... Who is that? Craig Forsyth and Ethan Stanley. We have to take a look at that one on the Robiles photo replay machine. Multiple cars right there. Ethan Stanley leaving pit road. Where is Craig? Here comes Craig Forsyth just behind him. By the way, Togo Hosada, Bill Tyler both just entered pit road here. This is a completely separate incident. I thought these 2 might have got together. They did not. But as I mentioned, Togo Hosada, Bill Tyler both on pit road. We will watch this to see where Tyler Fode is in comparison to the leaders. Here's Tyler Fode. He's at the start-finish line now. Togo Hosada, Bill Tyler still on pit road. There goes Tyler Fode, able to get past them. They are just now leaving their pit boxes. Tyler Fode turned a very minuscule gap to over 3 seconds on second and third. I think Tyler Fode just hit the jackpot when it came to strategy.
Yeah, I think he absolutely hit the nail on the head, coming in 1 lap earlier than the other 2. And I see why they did that. They tried to stretch their lead a little bit, because they were going to come in on the next lap. But that strategy for Togo and for Bill Tyler may have backfired because Tyler Fode, who has led from the jump, has a 3-second lead with 14 laps to go. You see what the gap is there, and with Tyler Fode having warm tires, the other two getting their cold tires. This may be Tyler Fode's race to lose.
It absolutely is Tyler Fode's race to lose at this point. 3.7 seconds is the gap between first and second at this point. Jared Rexing just had an off-track moment, able to come back on. Tyler Fode now 4 seconds just about as he heads off into turn number 1. Again, he absolutely nailed the pit stop. I think there's possibility that maybe he opted to take less fuel or potentially go with the no tire option and gain that time on pit road. But if you're Togo and Bill at the end of this race, you really have to look back. Obviously, if it ends with Tyler Fode in victory lane, you have to look back at your strategy and see what you could have done differently.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting if if Tyler does hang on to this, to speak with him afterwards, about the strategy on that on lap 15 there. But I think you're right. If the results hold the way they are, I think Togo and Bill Tyler are obviously going to be kicking themselves. We see another car off track there. But they're going to be kicking themselves definitely for the call that they ultimately made to come in one lap later.
Most definitely. And as we just saw the field come for their pit stops, we're going to take our pit stop as well. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes time to take you to the finish of the Mosport Grand Prix.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.
We are back here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the Mosport Grand Prix. That was a message from both our friends at iRacing as well as TA Services. TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing, and fulfillment, as well as cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri, close to the Gateway Arch. Featuring a 1.25-mile oval, a 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, as well as a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. And of course, Warriors for Peace is our series sponsor here. Warriors for Peace is a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world to honor the beautiful life of Jack Shockley. Check out warriorsforpeace.org for more information. That is Warriors, the number 4, peace.org. Back down on the racetrack, Tyler Fode has a 3.5 second lead over Togo Hosada. after pit strategy came into play there. Tyler Fode pit 1 lap sooner than Togo and Bill Tyler and was able to stretch a lead that was about 0.2 of a second to 3.5 at this point. So Tyler Fode, as you mentioned off the camera there, Derik, hit a home run with that pit strategy.
Yeah, he absolutely did. As you see, the gap there on the left-hand side of your screen in time. But Tyler Fode going in 1 lap before the other 2 cars and was able to get out with the lead. I mean, I understand why the other 2 cars did what they did, and you made the point that Tyler Fode may have, showed his cards a little too late for the other 2 cars to be able to slow down, hit pit road speed, and Tyler Fode gave him the old okey doke there. Going to be interesting to see if Tyler does hang on, and we have a chance to speak with him afterwards to ask him, who ultimately had that decision to come up with that strategy, and obviously if he wins, it seemed to work.
Absolutely. I definitely think it's a strategy that Tyler Fode is going to be pleased with, especially if it does pay off here, which it's looking like it will, with just 9 laps to go, leading by 3.5 seconds over Togo Sada, 4.3 over Bill Tyler, and then a large gap back to Ethan Stanley, 26 seconds, and 32 seconds back to Justin Fortner. Jim Herrick 1 lap down, Rory Collins 2 laps down, Jared Rexing out of the race, Craig Forsyth 7 laps down, and everybody else also out of the race today. Getting points, though, out of those guys will be Chad Frankfield, Brandon Burns, and Ryan Schuld. And again, we are using the 125-mile points tonight, so we will have 250 points going to the winner, 200 to second, 175 to third, and so on, all the way down to 13 points for Ryan Schuld.
Yeah, and somebody else that we were talking about during the break as well. Somebody that did spin out a few laps ago, but is having a great consistent run right there in the number 4th position. Ethan Stanley, he was coming into the race as the points leader, and with such a small field and not a lot of competitors that were challenging Ethan Stanley for that points championship. If things hold the way they are and he does finish 4th, he's going to be pretty happy with that consistent finish, but yet he's going to be able to pad his lead because not only getting a top 5 finish, but being such a small pack of competitors this evening.
Absolutely. Even if Ethan were to lose another spot, he's not going to lose much at all in the points with, like you said, so few guys here tonight and so few still running at this point. The only other driver that can really pass Ethan Stanley at this point would be Justin Fortner. Obviously, Jim Herrick and Rory Collins could get him if something were to happen, but at this point, it's just looking like Ethan Stanley's en route to a nice 4th place finish, which should be a good points day for him. Going to be weird not having him on the podium as he's been so consistent, but I think he will take it considering so many other people had massive issues here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and we addressed this earlier, but I think it's worth noting that there's going to be a lot of cars as you look through the field there. Maybe 11 through 16 it looks like that are going to quickly erase the memory of this race, because it's been so disappointing for them, not being able to get a handle on the car, or spinning out where they they put the car into the tire barrier or on top of the tire barrier. So a handful of drivers tonight are going to put this away, kind of delete it, as they say. But you're going to have at least one driver, Tyler Fode right now, that's going to be up late tonight celebrating a potential win with 7 laps to go.
Absolutely. As Tyler Fode's able to maintain a 3.5 second lead here over Togo Asada with 6 laps remaining in the event. At this point, Tyler's just trying to do what he can to ensure that he keeps his car on the racetrack, doesn't make any sort of mistakes, because although it may be 3.5 seconds, that can get swallowed up very quickly with even the slightest of mistakes. And you look up ahead of Tyler Fody, you do see a lap car up there. I believe that is Craig Forsyth up ahead that he should be getting shortly. And Craig's had his fair share of issues here tonight. A couple corners seem to have really stumped him, and he's seen himself go off track. So a little slip up from a lap car ahead of a guy like Tyler Fody as well, and that 3 seconds can easily go away, as Togo Asada has actually gained a little bit of time there, about 0.3 of a second in the last lap. So just under 3.2 seconds is the difference now between first and second. Coming to 5 to go. Jared Rexing has rejoined the race. Just for those of you keeping score at home, he is multiple laps down, 8 laps down to be exact, in the 9th position. But as you see Tyler Fody go by that lapped car on the racetrack, it was actually Jim Herrick. I do stand corrected, not Craig Forsyth. It was Jim Herrick.
Yeah, if you're Tyler Fody right now with 5 laps to go, all you're focused on is hitting your marks, each and every turn on the last 5 remaining laps, and come out of here with a victory. And I think that same strategy is playing with Ethan Stanley, the points leader, as well. You're right there in 4th place. You're going to pad your points lead. Just make sure you hit your marks every lap here in the last 5 laps. Bring it home with a consistent finish. And you know what? Tyler Fody may have won the race, but ultimately, if Ethan Stanley stays where he is, he's going to be the big winner, because he's going to pad his points lead even more coming down the stretch.
Absolutely. And for Ethan Stanley, I think that was the most important thing tonight, is coming in, and obviously he wants to compete for victories. That's why he's out here, and that's what he does really well. But I think he also came in with a mentality of, I have a pretty substantial points lead. Although it can get swallowed up very quickly, I want to do whatever I can to try to build on that and give myself a little bit of a buffer, because there could be racetracks coming up that Ethan might not be overly comfortable with, and wants to have that points gap to kind of fall back on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There may be, like you said, tracks that aren't in Ethan Stanley's wheelhouse, so to say. So as you said, he wants to have a little bit of wiggle room in case he does have a bad finish down the stretch, and finishing consistently in the top 5 like he is right now, with a small pack of competitors this evening, definitely plays into Ethan Stanley and his chase for this Lotus Championship.
Most definitely. As you do see on the scoring pylon, just 5 cars on the lead lap. Everyone else is 2 or more laps down. Actually, at this point, only 9 cars still in the race, with Jared Rexing being the last of those cars, 8 laps down. Craig Forsyth 7, then Rory Collins and Jim Herrick 2 laps down apiece. Here comes Tyler Fody, 3 laps to go now here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Heading down into turn number 1 is that number 40 machine. Another set of lap cars just up ahead. That's actually Jared Rexing, who we've seen struggle a fair bit here tonight. Not the race that Jared was looking for, and he was our points leader earlier this season, and now this is definitely going to impact him a little bit here tonight, as he's towards the bottom end of the points totem pole.
Yeah, he was looking for a consistent finish here as well, if he couldn't win the race.
Toggle around!
Oh, no!
What a save!
What a save, but look at that open the door for Bill Tyler. So Bill Tyler moves up to position number 2, but I don't think either one of them is going to be able to run down Tyler Fody, as we see the replay here.
Watching that number 15 car, he was basically completely sideways here down into turn number 2, holding that slide perfectly. Just a great drift there in the corner. Bill Tyler goes on by. No damage was done except maybe a little bit to the ego for Tago Asada as he drops down to that third position. And he had been holding first basically since lap number 1 tonight. Or second, I do apologize. Not first. He wishes he was first, but just not anything anyone can do to really beat Tyler Fode tonight.
Yeah, what a amazing save there by Togo. But unfortunately, it's probably going to be all for naught. You know, he's obviously going to be one of the podium finishers. But it didn't do him any favors trying to catch Tyler Fode. And now Bill Tyler is going to try his hand with just 2 laps to go. But it looks like Tyler Fode, again, unless he doesn't hit all of his marks, is going to be this evening's winner.
Absolutely. And Bill Tyler has really started hitting his stride in the last couple weeks. Got a podium at Watkins Glen last round. Unfortunately for him, his microphone wasn't working, so it didn't get the opportunity to get on and do an interview. So hopefully he has that all bottled up and is full of energy for tonight's interview, as Tyler Fode will take the white flag here. 1 lap to go at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Yep, Tyler Fode now just a few turns away from collecting another victory on this racing circuit here.
As you see the battle for second here, Derik.
Yeah, battle for second. Bill Tyler is going to have his hands full on this last lap because Togo has got to be fuming at that slide he had to give up the second position. He is giving Bill Tyler all that he wants to handle and more.
So Tago Asada actually was able to reclaim the top spot there, or the second spot of this group. You see him just ahead of Bill Tyler, but Bill Tyler going to do whatever he can to try to get that back as we go back up to Tyler Fode. He was able to get by Jared Rexing as he heads up towards the final sets of corners here en route to picking up the victory here in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The facility here owned by Ron Fellows & Co. And Tyler Fode looking like Ron Fellows out on the racetrack as he's going to come around and claim the victory here tonight. Tyler Fode, your winner in the Mosport Grand Prix. Togo Asada able to get that second spot back from Bill Tyler. Ethan Stanley looks like he's going to hold off Justin Fortner. He should get that by about 5 seconds over Fortner. Jim Herrick came home in 6th. Rory Collins 7th. Craig Forsyth 8th. Jared Rexing 9th. Chad Frankenfield 10th. Brandon Burns and Ryan Schold rounding out the points here tonight. Hunter Smith, Jorge Nieva, Yari Brupacher, and Justin Wadsworth rounding out the 16-car field here tonight. But back up front, of course, it is Tyler Fode, your winner here in the Mosport Grand Prix.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Tyler Fode. The only time that he gave up the lead, obviously, is when he came in to pit around lap 16 or 17. And that's that pit right there, that strategy, that call, I think is the reason why you see Tyler Fode this evening's winner.
Absolutely, and when we speak to him in Victory Lane, we will certainly have to talk about that pit strategy and if he feels like that's really the difference maker for him tonight. Obviously, he was dominant. I think Tyler Fode led every single lap here tonight, and he just did a fantastic job out there, really showing his skills in this Warriors for Peace Classic Series. And Tyler Fode once again claiming the victory. Tago Asada had another great run, and Bill Tyler, second podium finish in a row as you see those guys come down to pit road. Tyler Fode coming around to collect his checkered flag.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Great, analysis that Tyler is just to the beginning of showing off the skill set he has as a driver behind the wheel. and it's going to be interesting to see, as the years roll on, how many more wins Tyler Fode is able to pick up. And you see the nice, long, smoky burnout there. I know he's going to be excited when we get the chance to speak with him here shortly.
Tyler Fode, always a great interview, someone that really enjoys what he does and the finishes he's able to get out here as everyone has now exited the racetrack. So just taking some views from above here of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We'll take a look at the race results down on the racetrack. Of course, Tyler Fode picking up the victory over Togo Asada. Bill Tyler rounds out the podium. Ethan Stanley, the points leader there, in fourth. Justin Fortner in fifth, rounding out the lead lap finishers. Jim Herrick, Rory Collins, both of them 2 laps down. Craig Forsyth 7 laps down. Jared Rexing 9 laps down, rounding out the cars running at the end. Chad Frankenfield with issues tonight. Brandon Burns, Ryan Schuld, Hunter Smith, Jorge Neva, Yari Brupacher, and Justin Wadsworth rounding out the field. It does look like we have Bill Tyler standing by for an interview with you, Derik.
Bill, first and foremost, congratulations on your third place finish. Obviously you wanted to win the race. You got to second late there, but couldn't quite hold off Tago. But talk about your third place finish here this evening.
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, at the end, Togo made a little mistake, and I got around, and then I turned around and gave it right back to him. It was still really fun, and I love racing with Togo, so that was really good.
Yeah, we were talking about up here as close as Togo got to Tyler Fode. Any little mistake that either one could have made, could have sent you to the front. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. Talk about, I think, the interesting part of this race, lap, I believe 16 or 17 left, when you and Togo decided to stay out 1 lap longer than Tyler Fode. If you had to do that all over again, would you change your pit strategy there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't actually know what happened there. Yeah, I don't think in this car there's really an undercut. So in my mind, staying out as long as possible and refueling for as short of as possible is the right call. So I don't actually know what Tyler did. He got like 4 seconds on us. So yeah, I think that's just something that we need to figure out how to do pit stops.
Robert, anything you want to add?
Yeah, Bill, obviously congratulations on the podium tonight. And, last round out, you looked really good as well. Do you feel like you're really getting more comfortable as the season goes on and really showing what you can truly do here in the Warriors for Peace Classic Series?
Yeah, definitely getting used to the longer race distances and I guess sort of getting used to the pit stop. So that I think I still need some work there. Yeah, overall this far.
And looking ahead to the rest of the season, how are you feeling about the schedule? And is there a track that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Spa's coming up. That place I'm okay at. And there's Indy, and I'm not sure what the other ovals are, but yeah, definitely looking forward to the oval.
So we go from Spa to Indy to the Milwaukee Mile, and then we end at Legacy Phoenix.
Yeah, so those are all pretty fun. I haven't ever raced this car at Phoenix, so that'll be new. So looking forward to pretty much all the rest of the schedule.
Well, that is definitely good to hear. Bill, any shout outs you want to give, anyone you want to thank here before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Togo and Tyler. Congratulations, and shout out to Doug Nelson. Hope to see you back in the car soon.
Well, congratulations, Bill, on your podium finish here tonight, and we will see you in the next round at Spa. Well, Derik, that was Bill Tyler, our third place finisher here tonight And I do see him standing by in the waiting room for an interview with you. It is Tago Hosada.
Tago, first and foremost, congratulations on your second place finish. I know you wanted that top spot, and you were oh so close on so many occasions, but just couldn't quite get the job done. Talk about your race here this evening.
Yeah, the in qualifying practice, pace was very good. So yeah, it's gonna be a great race, I think. But the start is I missed. So the end of opening lap, I down to second place. Then this track is really strong slipstream track. So I decided to stay behind the Tyler and the fuel saving, then the short refueling, then the pushing the second stint. But it just fuel saving was success, but that makes my refueling time is shorter than I expected. So actually the my misjudgment, but the tire changing is longer than the refueling time. So that was really lost the plenty of time. So that makes my second thing that's so hard to catch up the tire again. So yeah, but the pace is really good, and the really good battle with Bill in the really last lap. So yeah, I'm so happy today.
Togo, the next question that I have before I throw it over to Robert, in the closing laps, you kind of you spun around a little bit. What attributed to spinning out and having to get back into second place?
Yeah, I just clipped the glass with lightly tires in the entry of the corner and lost control. But somehow, yeah, actually, I'm not sure about it. Just counter steer and playing. So yeah, just miracle. Yeah.
Robert, you got anything to add?
Yeah, Tago, obviously, congratulations on another strong finish here. Third place last time out, second tonight. Does that mean we can expect to see you in victory lane next time out at Spa?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I graduated from the high school last week, so the next week I can show up too. So yeah, preparing for the Spa and hoping for the maiden win from for the next weekend.
Well, that would definitely be great to see you pick up a victory there. Congratulations on graduating as well. That's a huge accomplishment, and it's also great to see that you'll have a bit more time to practice for Spa and hopefully have a chance at the win there. But before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, my family and this broadcast team. So thank you very much for the great broadcast, everyone, and the Lotus 49 community. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Tago, on your second place finish tonight, and we will see you in the next round at Spa.
Thank you.
Derik, that was Tago Hosada, our runner-up tonight. It's pretty cool to hear his view on the last lap battle and what he might have been able to do differently. And I genuinely think he's gonna have a good shot next time out at Spa.
Yeah, his confidence is through the roof right now. Last two races, consistent finishes. So yeah, definitely going to be a favorite going into Spa.
Absolutely. And now standing by is the man of the hour. It is Tyler Fody standing by with Derik.
Tyler, first and foremost, congratulations on your win this evening. It seems like it doesn't matter what type of car it is. You just find a way to go out there and dominate from start to finish. Talk about your race a little bit.
Yeah, that was a workout. I'm definitely tired after that one. this track is one that I've run one time before, I think, with the truck series in Elite, and I really loved it last time. So I was looking forward to running tonight. And the pace was pretty good in practice, but Togo was one I was definitely looking out for to be the one to beat. He seems to have been the guy to beat really on all the road courses so far. So it wasn't a surprise to be second to him in qualifying, but I don't know what it was. The race started and we got through the gears good and got around him into the first corner and never looked back, really. He kept me honest, though, the whole run. Could not make a mistake with him right there, but I was happy to be able to keep him behind. And then we had a great pit cycle. I put just enough fuel in, and I don't know if that was the difference or not to get me the gap, but once we had that, it seemed like it stabilized from there. So yeah, we'll take the win. I definitely needed it with how the points have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Robert up here in the booth, come to the conclusion that the last pit stop around 16 or 17 laps left was going to be decide who won this race. How were you able to win or hit a home run, as I said, on strategy coming out? A lap before those other two cars, going in rather, a lap before those other two cars. Who decided on that?
Well, really, it was my fuel tank because I wasn't planning on going before everybody. But I was literally running out of gas as I was going through the last couple corners. And so I basically did some quick math on the laps we had done, which it made it pretty easy because we did 30 and then we had 15 left. So I ended up trying to put exactly half of what we started with to run the last 15. Which again was like spot on. I was running out of gas coming to the end there. But I think what helped me out was I was probably using first gear more than the other two, which is what I would say contributed to me running out of gas quicker because they were able to go another lap, which I definitely couldn't have. But in the end, I guess that kind of helped out with the speed and then also me being able to know exactly how much gas to put back in it because I feel like they may have put a little more, which is what cost them in the pit stop.
Yeah, congratulations, and you definitely hit a home run, you and your crew on that pit stop, the money stop there, to put you out in the lead. And I'll throw it over to Robert.
Yeah, congratulations, Tyler, on the victory tonight. Obviously, no Ethan Burrell in the race to wreck you out of it, so that was a positive. And I do want to start just asking if you're feeling any better. You were having a rough week, so hopefully you're feeling a bit better over there.
Oh yeah, it's I've felt great the last 2 days, and the voice has been slowly coming back. So we're happy to be moving on from that and looking forward to the races coming.
Absolutely. And speaking of the races coming next week, we go to Spa over in Belgium. How are you feeling about that racetrack? It can be a little bit tough.
Yeah, it's definitely a daunting track. I do absolutely love it. I've never drove it in these cars, though. It's going to be a lot of drafting. It was similar to probably what we saw with Monza, where some guys may be quicker through the corners, but once we hit the straights, because there's definitely a couple big ones in Spa, it'll kind of level out. So I'd look to see the same few players in it again, but I feel like we'll be on top of each other a little bit more. But definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should definitely be a good race. And then after that, we go to Indianapolis for 200 laps, followed by Milwaukee Mile and Phoenix. Is there one of those three that you have circled on your calendar as a track that you should be really good at?
I love all of them, and I'd like to say I may be better at some than the others, but I've never driven this car around those tracks, so it's tough to say. And it's been a couple weeks since we've done like a proper oval. I know we had Daytona, but prior to that we were it's I don't know. Some of those, I mean, Indy might be a pack race. Phoenix very well could be. I mean, all of them could be pack races, or they could be strung out. It's tough to say right now, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to some ovals as well.
Absolutely. And before we let you go tonight, anyone you want to thank, any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Chad for putting this on. It's definitely a fun little series. I'm not quite as good with the regular Indy cars, so it was cool to run another open wheel series and have some competitive guys. Shout out to the other podium finishers. Togo, like I said, has been awesome the last couple weeks, and Bill as well. And yeah, shout out to you guys for putting it on.
Well, congratulations, Tyler, on your victory here. First one of the season for you here in the Lotus Series. So nice to see you pick up a victory, and you are third in points exiting tonight, 540 points back of Ethan Stanley. Sounds like a lot, but that can change in just one race. So congratulations on the victory tonight, and we'll see you next week at Spa.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Derik, that was Tyler Fody, our winner here tonight. And as we are in the process of wrapping things up here, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, congratulations again to Tyler Fody for his dominating performance from start to finish. And then also, too, I think another winner, as we mentioned, is Ethan Stanley, who was able to come home in position 4. Which ultimately was a huge win for him because with the small field this evening, he was able to put a little padding between him and the rest of the field season long for the points championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Congratulations to Ethan Stanley on being able to pad that lead a little bit. He lost a bit of points to Bill Tyler and Tyler Fody, but was able to kind of pull away from the rest of the field, which is a big deal because he still has pretty much a one race lead over the rest of the guys. Congratulations to Tyler Fody on the victory. He's been sick the last week or so, literally had no voice for a few days, and I had that recently. It's really rough, so congrats to him. Congrats to Togo on his runner-up finish tonight and graduating high school this week. Pretty cool accomplishment for him, and that's definitely a big deal. Bill Tyler on his podium, and he's been coming alive lately, so excited to see what they can do next week at Spa, of course. Thank you to Chad Frankfield for putting on the league, Dave Huckleberry for everything he does for Elite Racing Network, Blue League Marketing, TA Services, Worldwide Technology Raceway, as well as Warriors for Peace for coming on board as the series sponsor, and our premier partners, of course. And thanks to everyone at home for tuning in tonight. Thanks to you, Derik, for being here for the broadcast tonight. And we will see everyone next week at Spa, but be sure to tune in to the next broadcast here on Elite Racing Network. Sunday night, a doubleheader in the Truck Series from the short track of Lanier. So be sure to tune into that about 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Elite Racing Network. My name is Robert Hill Jr., and this has been a production of the Elite Racing Network.